What do you think about the tariffs?
I love them.
Yeah, are you a tariffist?
I'm a everybody needs to pay their own way person.
What do you think about the whole tariffs thing?
Oh, I'm in favor for it.
Okay.
Warren G. Buffett. It's the only way the blacks make money.
The who?
The blacks.
Okay, tell me about it.
1934, the thimble, copyright, trademark infringement, tariffs.
So you are a tariffist.
Yeah.
Who should we tariff the most?
Whites.
Whites?
Yeah.
Like what country?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's hurting the stock market now, but I think it will definitely come back, and we'll be happy that we've stood up for ourselves.
And who do you think we should tariff the most?
China.
What about the least?
China.
Canada.
Oh,
They've been pretty nice
okay,
to us.
Canada's
been really nice to us.
Canada's nice.
What do you think about the tariffs?
Everything's more expensive. I mean, we're the ones that won't be paying the tariffs. It doesn't work the way they're saying it's gonna work. No, we're the ones responsible for paying the tariffs.
So no one is saying the quiet part out loud, and I haven't seen anybody say this out loud, so I'm going to say it out loud. Once these tariffs go in and we see these price increases, that's going to be our new normal. The prices are not going to come back down. I don't for the life of me seeing that if/when these tariffs go away, corporations are going to willingly lower the prices back because they're going to have a new baseline for what their record profits are. So if they increase the prices on goods that we're receiving today, they're not going to decrease. It's just because tariffs are going away. And I feel like we've seen this with COVID. When prices go up, they don't come back down after the crisis, and things have not returned back to normal, at least for me. I'm noticing that the same items that I was buying about 5 years ago are have a % increases when I go to buy those same items. And another thing is I saw somewhere that phone companies are also putting tariffs on stuff. And for me, it makes sense if I'm buying a physical device, like a phone, an AirPod, or whatever the device is, to have to pay a tariff on it. But if these tariffs are going on voice lines, like voice calling, texting, that just kind of speaks to the greed. And that just kind of reaffirms my belief that once these tariffs go in, those are going to be our new normal prices. And I don't for the life of me see corporations raising the wages of everyday people to kind of account for these increases. So people are going to continue to struggle. And I'm kind of just we're just going to wait and see what happens.
We have some big news this morning. Americans are about to pay a hell of a lot more for coffee, clothing, and really everyday necessities as the tariffs have been hiked to the highest rate since the Great Depression. These tariffs are already in effect. The Trump administration has already put them in effect. You have reciprocal tariffs of 10 to 15% across the board, impacting countries across the globe. And then you have tariffs some as high as 39% for Switzerland. So Swiss coffee or Swiss chocolate going to pay a hell of a lot more. 50% for Brazil. I spoke to a local coffee manufacturer and distributor who told me that he just can't afford to be buying coffee anymore from Brazil because he's now selling it at a loss because of how expensive coffee is now coming into the United States. But the tariff rate hasn't been higher since the Great Depression, which means you're about to pay a lot more for everyday goods. And yes, this is me after paying $7 for a coffee for my wife, which is unreasonable in and of itself, but alas. Spread the word and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. More to come very soon.
Hello, and welcome back. A lot of you all have said, Rashonda, you're not a mixing spoon, but you stay stirring things up. And to that I say, thank you. Today we're here to discuss something that has a lot of you all confused, but I'm here to help. It's really very simple. Let's check the word. The word of the day is tariff. 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 A lot of you all are confused on exactly what this word means. Tariff equals tax. It is a tax imposed by the government on goods and services imported from other countries, okay? America is a country. So is Canada and Mexico. They are all in North America, but they are different countries, okay? All right. We also have countries outside of North America, like China, where we get 99.9% of our items, okay? You all are confused on a lot of things. We have big items like cars, computers, iPhones, houses over here that need to be built, okay? Those things are made up of smaller things that we get from other countries, okay? And you're wondering, who's going to pay this tax? The answer is you. right? Because everything's gonna go up. This is what is happening, all right? Do you all know that on a highway, when there's an accident, it slows down everybody? Many people are injured, some people die. And then you get up there and find out that somebody was playing chicken with a Mack truck. That is what America is doing with these other countries. And it's affecting all of us. The stock is down because people are scared to purchase items. They want to save money, okay? They understand that everything's going to go up because of this. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Big things are made of small things. We get many small things that you all don't even think about from various different places, okay? This is a tariff. Say it with me. Tariff is a tax, and we will pay for it. Pay attention. Thanks.
Make your products in the United States. I don't understand why you have to manufacture them abroad if it's getting so expensive. Literally impossible for the next 10 to 15 years. But let me explain to you what is going on and why we are royally fucked. Because we're all finding out that this is how tariffs work. Use the example of Instant Angel because I actually tried to produce this tube in the United States. Hi, my name's Charlotte Palomino, co-founder of Do, and I worked on the manufacturing side for years. This aluminum tube, I actually found a company that claimed that they made it in the United States. So once I provided the artwork, they said, great, this will be produced in about 3 months. We had our launch date. Joyce had given the tech transfer to our contract manufacturer. We were good to go. 3 months rolls around, and we are told by the tube manufacturer that they just can't find anybody in Kentucky to work the lines. Now, as somebody who is industrious and who does not like it when I feel like somebody's withholding information from me, I found somebody on LinkedIn that worked at this company, and I made them give me the address in Kentucky and responded to who I was talking to at the time, who was very high up at the company. And I said, if you do not tell me what's going on right now, I am driving to your fine state. And that's when they told me the truth. The tubes were coming from China, and they were only decorating them in Kentucky. And because they couldn't get it to the price that they quoted us, they couldn't find anybody to work the lines because they were underpaying people. This highlights the very problem of trying to bring all manufacturing back into the United States. These are jobs that you would not be able to pay a livable wage. This isn't to say that you can't pay a livable wage to somebody who is making these products, because now our tubes are sourced from Italy, and then our other packaging is sourced from Spain. And so they're able to make a livable wage. There's two things that you're forgetting. They have had the infrastructure for decades. We have to build that from scratch, which requires investment. And number two, they have very strong social safety nets. And so businesses aren't paying for things like healthcare, and there's affordable childcare. Food, healthy foods, and fresh foods are subsidized. Oh, and they also have centers for disease control. Really bad for business when everybody's like coughing and dying. So in order for the United States to get our manufacturing back here, it's going to be requiring billions, if not trillions of dollars of investment from the government. And on top of that, you are going to be footing the bills for companies in the interim. Very little of what you own is only made in one country. Like, even if you look at clothing, even if it's manufactured in the United States, that fabric is likely not. And so I'm just using packaging as an example, but when you look at skincare, there are thousands of different touch points when you have, say, 100 products, which is very common in color cosmetics. You have the packaging, you have the formula, you have the box, which is called the secondary. On est vraiment dans la merde, which is French for we're in the shit. Quand je suis très en colère, je parle en français. When I'm really mad, I speak in French. And I'm mad for us because we're making problems that don't need to exist, and there are very real problems to solve. Bonne journée, bonsoir.
Wow, give him our Is he friends with Jet Ski Brian? He's not.
Ever since he came down that escalator in 2015, blowing the racist dog whistle, inciting violence and elevating hatred, all in the name of patriotism and America first. You know, this guy literally studied the Hitler's playbook. So what I want you to watch is how Trump blame others for the mistake he does. So let's continue watching this video, and thank you for watching my videos, and I'll make a better conclusion at the end of this video. I don't want to interrupt your watch. So let's continue watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
So we just launched tariffs against the same countries that are financing our debt. It's an interesting play. We'll see how it turns out. It's like telling your mortgage lender that you're slashing their salary. Not a great idea, Bob. So the big five financing America's $34 trillion in debt. are Japan with 1.1 trillion. China has something like 750 billion. United Kingdom's got 690 billion, Luxembourg 373 billion, and Canada 329 billion. So they're investing in the US, or at least they're paying for our bills. So foreign countries hold about 22, 23% of our IOUs. They're like the friends that still buy you rounds at 2 in the morning. Now, yesterday, or this week's tariffs announcement, was economic chaos theory in action. So we're taxing the same countries that were begging to buy our debt. And it's always about cash when you look at this. Now, with China, we hit them with tariffs. Now, they finance us with dollars from trade surpluses. If there's fewer exports to the U.S., that means there's fewer dollars to buy U.S. treasuries. This is a reminder. Trade wars aren't good and easy to win. They're complex, messy, and the financial equivalent of like lighting your house on fire because you don't like your neighborhood's paint color. U.S. has been able to run big deficits because the dollar is the world's reserve currency and playing the game on easy mode. But if you end it, well, tariffs could accelerate that de-dollarization. And the game for us gets harder. It means basically money gets more expensive, mortgage rates go up. So could this stuff create a treasury shortfall? But here's where it gets interesting. If foreign buyers tap out, we have a couple of options. The Fed could step in and print money, or domestic buyers could kind of fill the gap. But that money comes from the stock market, moves to other spots. You could also raise rates to attract capital. All three of those things mean higher costs, and it's an economic drag on the economy. There's no free lunch. Now, economic dominoes could start to fall too. You could see retaliation. Countries that get hit with tariffs could hit back. And that means that U.S. exports suck. Export industries lay off people and fire them. Tax revenue would fall from that. Debt servicing gets harder. It's like expecting somebody to loan you money right after you punch them in the face. And in markets, what we're seeing, they hate volatility. These tariffs are uncertainty for everybody. The dollar could strengthen, although it's weakening right now. If the dollar strengthens, our exports become less competitive. Foreign currencies could weaken, making the U.S. debt more expensive to service. You're going to see the dollar go up and down in value as all kinds of crazy things happen. Now, these tariffs themselves are a tax on consumption. If there's higher prices, you see less spending, you see slower growth, and you see less tax revenue. The economics isn't really that complicated. Now, countries might start shifting from treasuries to gold or other currencies or commodities. The dollar's reserve status doesn't guarantee eternal loyalty. These things can change quickly. Foreign holders of U.S. debt have been trending down, and the tariffs are going to accelerate this quite a bit. Not ideal when we have $1 trillion deficit to finance. Now, the real question is, can the U.S. government finance itself without foreign buyers? Yes, it can, but at a high price. You end up with higher rates, higher debt service costs. That means less money for everything else. Fiscal policy here is about trade-offs. So we're risking our ability to cheaply finance $34 trillion or so in debt to score political points in trade. It feels good now, even though it hurts, and it's more painful later on, like most things in life, I guess. So America is still like the world's least ugly contestant in the economic beauty pageant. The tariffs are making us less attractive. And in debt markets, attractiveness means lower borrowing costs. Life is about relationships. Countries and nations are no different. If you want to alienate your creditors, that's not a good winning strategy. Economic nationalism feels good, but it costs more than we think. The bill comes due, always.
Dino, so I saw a couple comments where people said, just admit that you were wrong about tariffs.
Just admit I'm wrong? Why?
Yeah, that prices haven't increased, that they're not inflationary.
Because there's no tariff impact yet. There's no tariff impact yet. Barely. Okay, so when this whole tariff, shit show happened at the beginning, most of the importers front end loaded their imports.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when the ports were all the ships came in at one go and they were all full. And in the next cycle, the ships were empty. What did the importers do? They front end loaded everything. They moved all their orders as early as possible so all the goods would miss on the tariff. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the products that were being imported got away with it. They didn't get past that deadline. They didn't go into the deadline, post the deadline, so they didn't get tariffed, right? Number one. Number two, look at what he's doing. He announces this crazy ass tariffs, right? And then he goes, well, I'm going to extend you. So basically what he's done is he's never said I'm going to tariff you this and that's the end of the story, you're done. It's always I'm going to extend you. Because what is it? It's always a negotiation. He's trying to bring them in to negotiate. He did it successfully with the UK, Japan, now he did it with Europe.
And are the trade deals that we have now better than what we had before?
No, hold on. Yeah, okay. Well, of course they're not, in general. Because he's moved the bar up now. We're coming from pre-Trump at no tariffs on some products. That's why there's that imbalance. That's why everyone says it's not fair. It's free but not fair, right? I'll use the example before. Germany would tariff us 10% on all cars, but we only tariff them 1.25% on the German cars. So now that's gone. It's 15% now with Europe, right? So the bar has gone up. The baseline has moved up. So everything's going to get tariffed at a higher level now. I mean, the big elephant in the room is who? Is China. It's still at 55% or something crazy like that.
Hasn't gone live yet.
No, he keeps extending it because he wants them to negotiate, right? And it's a hot mess because it's not just tariffs. He's bringing in the TikTok thing. He's bringing in rare earth materials and all that. So it's just, there's no distinct line in the sand saying, oh, these are all the tariffs, and then we wait until all the goods start coming in, they get tariffed, everything becomes more expensive. He keeps extending, negotiate, extending, negotiate. When's that going to end? Who knows? But eventually you can't kick the can down the road anymore. You can't keep doing this. Things are going to get more expensive because he's already established a higher baseline for tariffs. We just haven't seen it yet. And also what's happened recently is a lot of the suppliers, I mean, a lot of the importers, retailers, distributors, whatnot, they're eating it because they're uncertain too. They're like, well, let's not, lose market share right now. Let's just eat it for now because we don't know what the final number is. No one does. It's all unilateral. It's like one country, one group here, bam, bam, bam. It's not like blanket. So it's going to take time to work itself out. But I mean, just if you ask me, the bar's raised. The baseline is up. So eventually when these things all gets washed out, we're going to be in a higher tariff world in terms of our imports. I would think a portion of that will be passed on to the consumers. The suppliers, the importers are going to eat some. The suppliers are going to try and reduce their goods a little bit because we've got huge market share over here, right? But there is going to be an effect. The reason you don't see it yet is because it's not worked itself out yet to the end user, meaning the consumers. It will eventually. Just watch.
I know this is very scary. I mean, this is unprecedented to see this kind of loss over the course of 2 or 3 days when there's not an external event that causes it. It's really our doing here, the United States policy and these tariffs that has caused this to occur. So what I try to say to people is I look back at history, even when we've had catastrophic events in the markets like the dot-com boom and bust, the crash of 1987, even going back further, the COVID crisis, the Great Recession, over the long term, stocks will come back. It's going to be very uncomfortable right now. I'd like to refrain from any money that's long term, but if you need money in the next 1 or even 2 years, I would be careful. I wouldn't have it at risk. So you know how I always say, oh, you need an emergency reserve fund? Because you don't want to have to go into your stocks, into your retirement account, grab money at the worst possible time.
We have some big news right now. UPS has begun throwing out thousands of packages coming into the United States from international countries, according to NBC News, because of Donald Trump's tariffs and customs requirements that simply aren't being met. So essentially, thousands of packages coming from China and elsewhere are currently being held up in customs at various processing facilities across the United States. And while it's not getting any easier, there are lots of changes, lots of confusing things happening, lots of confusing paperwork because of tariffs and because of just trade policy by this administration. And so as a result, UPS has just begun marking a number of packages just to dispose, which means that you may not get your package. So if you lose a package that's coming from overseas and it just never shows up at your door because of this, now you know why. This is just the beginning of impacts from Donald Trump's tariffs policies, so just get ready, spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, as always, linked in bio, so subscribe for free. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
More money coming in from MAGA. Thank you, President Trump. Have you heard the latest? President Trump is now going to be giving out tariff checks. Yes, because the United States is bringing in so many hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs that President Trump wants to share it. So now we'll be getting tariff dividend checks on top of the Doge stimulus checks that are on the way for $5,000. This is unbelievable stuff. Not to mention, President Trump lowered the price of eggs 400%. So that $4 dozen of eggs you go to buy at the store, you now get back $16. That's right. And he also lowered prices on prescription drugs 1,500%. That's right. So now your $100 prescription, you get back $1,500. Thank you, President Trump. You are something else. Oh, MAGA.
In 1989, Poland. It's in 1991, Russia. It's in 2008, United States of America. It's in 2025, United States of America. Now, my name is Anthony. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And thank you for watching my videos and reaching this end. Now, let me give you my 2 cents on the videos you just watched. So, in 1989, communism falls in Poland. Billionaires start grabbing all the national assets, buying, at bargain prices. And the billionaires end up owning almost all the major corporations in United States, in Poland. The same thing happened in Romania when that dictator was overthrown. Do you remember the dictator? Tell me in the comment section what is the name of the dictator that was shot by a firing squad in Romania. You guys, I know you know history. 1991, Russia, but this was more brutal in Russia. That was more brutal. 1991, not like Poland. Everything collapsed. The Soviet Union, boom. What happens? All the state corporations, they are grabbed by billionaires. It's happened. In 2008, here in United States, the land of capitalism, the land of the free, everything collapses. What happens? The Wall Street grabs everything that you guys and spent years building, because everything collapsed, and it all collapsed by design. It was premeditated. The government knew, everyone knew, but there was no incentive to stop the collapse. There wasn't incentive, because you can't tell me that the government didn't know. The government, we have the finest intelligence in the world. How did we know about the 2008 collapse? So it was all designed, and it was under a Republican. It was under a Republican. So now in 2025, here we are. Tariffs left, right, and center. Unemployment skyrocketing. The dollar decreasing in value. Trump inviting billionaires to White House ceremonies. Everything that this government is doing is literally meant to collapse the systems that are in place, overwhelming the systems. Trump wakes up in the morning, 100% tariffs to Canada. Trump wakes up in the evening, maybe or at noon, 40% tariffs to Canada, China, Mexico, name the Brazil. So what happens? The small businesses start collapsing. When they start collapsing, the bigger businesses, or maybe this Wall Street or this corporation, they come grabbing them. And that's how brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, grandpas, grandmas, everyone who is watching my video, that's how a country is being taken slowly by oligarchs. We are now operating under the feudal system with the corporates, the corporations, the big companies as our lords. So if you're watching this video, embrace for impact. So what I usually say to stop all these menace, let's cap first. Let's cap funding to our politicians. Let's cap funding. What do I mean by let's cap funding? If you are donating to a politician, you can't donate more than maybe 100,000 or 50,000 like Australia did, so that you can reduce the power of lobbyists to our politicians. The second, and the most important, let's place term limits to our politicians under every major sector of our administration. Let's cap the number of terms someone can run. And again, let's continue attending these town halls and asking the necessary questions, Yes. So, guys, until the next video, what I usually say, stay blue, stay alert, stay focused, watch blue, listen blue, learn blue, vote blue, and until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.